computer aided drawing. Now the basic of computer aided drawing is having a point or a diagram and looking at it. So first of all, let's make a straight line. Yeah, now you have this you can say xy quadrants of first and second. Let's say it's x and this is y, right? And this will be x dash and y dash, of course. Now when we look at it from any object we see is actually in 2D. Okay, so we don't need this to be 3D because we are looking at an object, right? Anything we are looking at should be in 2D, right? So let's say any object of, let's say this is a point here, right? This point, I'm looking at this point from front, right? Let's say this, right? This way I'm looking at it, and this is the background, right? This is the front view. So what I'm looking at is just a point in any direction we go, right? And if I look it from this angle, right, we see a point again, but this is on x-axis, right? Now we will delete this. This is basic. Now first we will look into what we do. Okay, so you saw that we used xy plane, right? Now we know we can't actually draw an xy plane, like we need to know the top and front view together, right? So we call this VP or vertical plane, or we can say front face, because here if the point remains here, then when I look at from this side, it will be like a point, but on this vertical plane, right? So, and if I look at from upward direction, it will look like a point again, but on HP. So we name this as VP vertical plane and this as HP horizontal plane. So in India, of course, there's two ways to draw this, but in India we actually use VP and HP. Like the VP will be at the top and HP will be at the bottom. Okay, now how do we change this diagram, this diagram into this, right? You will be thinking, how do we change it like that? So the HP always rotates at 90 degree in a clockwise direction. 90 in clock, right? So when this HP moves at 90 degree to clockwise direction, it will look like this, something like this, right? This will be VP. VP, and this will be HP, right? So, but we have this. How do we make it sure? See, now we have VP and HP, right? If there is some point, let's say some object standing like this, right? This object, right? So how would we perceive this in this HP and VP? Let's change this line. Thickness would be okay. Yeah. Now when I go to this, now when I'm looking at this from this angle, right, then this image will form in this VP, right? And what we'll perceive is a straight line, right? But when we perceive this in HP, we will find just a point, because we are looking this from upward direction, right? And from up it's only one point, right? But why is that we are seeing on now in this plane? When you in this plane, it's a single line, and in that line you have this single point, right? This point, if we change this to point, yeah, and when you look at this, it's a point, right? We'll just perceive a point, right? We won't find any line in it, but we are rotating it in 90 degree, right? Rotating it in 90 degree, right? We are rotating it in 90 degree. So so when we look at it from this point, we will just find a point. Cool, right? So this is the basic of how to draw or how to understand the computer-aided drawing. Now, for a question related to points. A point A is 30 mm in front of VP and 40 mm above HP. Another point B is behind VP and 35 mm below HP. The horizontal distance between 2 points measured XY line parallel line is 60 mm. Draw TV, HV and SV. So it says that we have to draw. So let's start with basic, right? Let's perceive one point at a time. So this is XY line, right? This is a VP and HV. I won't write it because it would take time. We don't have that much. So it says it's 30 mm, right? So a point, say 50, is 30 mm in front of VP, right? This point. Let's make it a tick point. Yeah. Now we will understand this as from this point to this point. It's, yeah, of course it's not a straight line. No need to think of it anything. Now we have 30, right? And from this it says above HP is 40 mm, right? This line is 40, right? This is A, right? For B point, we will draw another XY, right? Now in this XY we find that it says another point B is 20 mm behind HP. So it says behind. So what does behind mean? In XY, and of course there's not only a XY, there's also different quadrants. So in this we have to extend X line and Y line below, so we can actually understand what's going on here, and just change to point thickness, and then it says 20 mm behind. So this point here, let's say this point, or it can be this point either. So any of this point which is 20 mm behind, this, okay, yeah, this says 20 mm, 20, right? Yeah, so this is 20, and it's 20 mm behind VP and 35 mm below HP. So it says below HP, that means this HP line and the below one is this, right? So we will look at point and then we will label it as 35, right? So 35, and this line will be 20, right? 20, and we'll remove this, right? Now we have A and B points location with us. For starters, we will draw a straight line which will name that XY line. Okay, now straight line, XY line, and in this line, the length of this line should be 0.35. okay, so this is the length of the point, then length of the line, and we will name it as X and Y. Okay, so this is X and Y. Okay, for starters, we will look into how to draw A points. Now it says this, as you know, this is VP, and this is HP, right? So it says a point which is, for starters, we will make this line 90 degree, minus 90 of course. It says HP is 30 mm in front of VP. That means this length, right? So when we look at this from top view, we will see that it's the distance between here to here to here is 30, right? This is 30, and when we look at this, then this point will represent here. Okay, it will appear here. So, and the HP will rotate at 90 degree clockwise, of course. So we will take a line, make this a thin line, of course, then draw at minus 90, 30. The length will be 30, of course, and then you place it here. This is the point, and then we'll darken the point, of course, since it's the point, we'll darken it. Then we got point. Now the same line, of course, it says 40 mm above VP, above HP. So this, we will look at it from this side, and this length should be 40, and the point will be perceived here. So we will make a line 40 mm at 90 degree, 40 mm, right? Of course, we will change this thickness to 1.3, and then the point here. So when we see this arrow mark, that represents that this is the end of the line. Okay. In fact, if you draw a point here, it will show like the point here. It will show this is the end. Okay. So yeah. Now we have to know the distance. We will use this smart dimension and extend it. Click on the line and extend it a little left side. We will perceive 30 and 40 here. Okay. Now we have to label this. How do we know which is top view and which is a side view, like the front view? So we will label it as A, since the point name is A. And when we are writing a front view, top view, we write it as A. When we are writing a front view, we write it as A dash. And when we are writing a side view, we label it as A dash dash. Okay. Now we have A dash. Okay. Now it says another point, B. Okay. Below HP and okay. Now it says that this another point is B or whatever, but it says the horizontal between the 2 points measured parallelly is XY line is 60. So How can we make 60 here? The easiest way to do this is make a thin line. This is a point, this is parallel, and place this as 60. Cool. Then we get this as 0 degree 60. Place this as a point. Now we'll change this into a point with understandable thickness, descent, and then draw this, and we'll delete this line, of course. If you ask me why we are deleting this, well, we don't need the extra lines. Now it says 60, this we have found, okay, 60. Now it says 20, this point is 20 mm behind VP, so this is behind VP. If this is behind VP, HV will rotate at 90 degrees. That means this will rotate at, can come to this, okay. Now, so if it's at top, we'll change this, we'll make a thin line, this is the point, and we will say 20, alright, 20, okay, 20, and then print, okay, we get 20 degree at 90 degree, 20 mm at 90 degree, and we'll change it to a thick line. We'll place this point here to represent that it's on top view. We will label it as B. Fine. Now they say another point is 35 mm below, right? So that means this will be representing here, this part of the line. Cool. Now so it's 35 mm below. We'll click on this point and drag it to 35 at minus 90, and then of course we have to change this to a thin line because this is not a purpose, but the point is, right? So when we go to point and we'll place the point here, we'll label this point as B dash, right? Because front view is labeled as the label, and then the dash says A dash, of course. Then we go to smart dimension, we'll pick out the length. Cool. Now we know this. Cool. Now it says we need to find the measure the distance between 2 points parallel to and we have to find TV, that is top view. HV, this is the front view. We have found the HV and TV of both of the points, but it says SV. That means that we have to find side view. So we go to this line, make an horizontal line of minimum thickness, 35 mm thickness, straight line. This will be labeled as X dash and Y dash. Actually, this question hasn't specified us which side the line should be. This which I have drawn is called as RPP. This is the right plane, okay, right side is okay. So this is what we get. Now after we do this, we have this, let's say this is the top. Now for first we will do for A dash, okay. For that we have to click on this point. We'll change this thickness, okay. This it's receiving, right? Okay, let's zoom it more now. Cool. Now this and this line, okay. It doesn't, so actually when we do this, it will actually show you that it's intersecting, okay. The function has been changed, I guess. I have not set the this, but whatever. Let's say this line, okay. So this angle will be minus 45, and let's just draw this. We will change it to minus 45, and we'll just draw this here. Cool. Now we will drag this to this side, and then this to this side, and then we will drag this to this side, okay. Straight line, of course, everything is straight. and then this point will be labeled as A double dash. Cool. Now this is 45, of course. Angle between, we'll find distance between, okay, distance between this and this, 60, right? Okay, yeah, fine. Now we will do the same for this, because the top view, we always need the top view, okay? So we will do this, we will go to this, it will say 45. Okay, now this and 45 degree. Okay, now this point we will drag it to here, then drag it to here. Okay, so this got a little problematic here. If you can't make a proper straight line like this. Yeah, this shows this proper straight line, then again a proper straight line, and then this is another proper straight line. We'll trim it, we'll trim this, we'll trim this, we will label this as B double dash. Okay, yeah, there was an issue there. Yeah, B double dash, of course. Now we have A dash, B dash, and this is the answer for this question, whole question. Cool. Now this is points. Let's go to planes directly, because we don't have much time.